Hey everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Kaiva Rose and I'm here to offer you the astrology insight for the week of November 5th through the 11th. And before I begin, I would like to sincerely thank all of my patrons for all their support. And if you find that you're tuning into these videos on a daily basis and you'd like to become a patron, you get these videos ahead of the general public as well as discounts off your readings. And I'm going to also start doing some daily meditations. So if that's something that you're interested in, please head on over to patreon.com/KaivaRose and become a patron. So this week, we've had so many new insights, so much understanding about what we value, what our place in the world is, what we want to let go of. And so this week, it's keeping all of this sort of fresh perspective in the forefront of your mind, because there's going to be some challenges this week that ask you to let go of these old egoic patterns, these selfish behaviors, these things that are limiting you from actually merging fully with other people and really discovering the depths that life has to offer you. And so this week, keep this in your mind. It's saying, like, you know, if you really feel like you're emoting in a way that doesn't represent who you are now, take a moment, pause, and readjust the situation. Because this week, it really is about allowing yourself to see, who are you? What do you now value? And what are these new identities that you want to start experimenting and playing out? Because this is an opportunity with this North Node in Aries that we have going on, where it is kind of saying, like, how do you want to embrace your independence? What kind of new identities are you kind of putting on? And how can you allow yourself to let go of those old egoic patterns of expressing yourself and maybe those selfish behaviors that just limit you from fully merging together with other people? What are those patterns that you can let go of so that you can really embrace a new identity? So keep that in the forefront of your mind this week, that if you feel like old patterns are coming up, take a breath, settle into it, and then express yourself. Don't just go into old patterns, old behaviors, because this week, like I said, this is about trying out new ways of identifying with the situation and with yourself in general. Starting this week's astrology report on Sunday the 5th, we have the third quarter moon at 12 degrees Leo. It will be important for you to remember today to keep yourself in check as far as what are you emoting and how are you presenting yourself. Today is about releasing the pride, releasing the ego, because it's not about you just being by yourself, being the leader. This is about coming together with people in power. This is about doing the deep healing. This is about allowing yourself to illuminate the depths of the wounds. And so in order to do that, you need to be fully able to say, I am wrong. That is ugly. I shouldn't do that. And in doing that, it allows you to achieve better things. But if you keep saying, I'm in the right, there's nothing wrong with me, you're never going to be able to do the deep healing. And that's what today is about. And if you choose to say, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, you could potentially feel like you're being blocked into a corner today. And so to prevent that, it's really just acknowledging that, you know what, there's things in my life that I do that are not awesome, that aren't the greatest things that I do. I don't emote perfectly. I could do a better presenting myself. I could do better handling my emotions, because we also have that square at the moon has a square to Uranus today, where it's saying, if you want to break through these standards, these habits, these traditions, these ways that you have been participating in for some time, they just go round and round and round. It has everything to do with releasing the ego, releasing the pride. And that is 100% where we need to be today. It's about being human. It's about being real. Everybody has wounds. There's big wounds in the world that need to get healed. And now is the time to really do this work together as a collective. But in order to do it together, each and every one of us has to acknowledge we're not perfect. We do shitty things, and that's completely fine if we can work on them. But like I said, if you're gonna turn today into making it all about you, you might feel like you're being backed into a corner. If you're gonna continue to emote in ways that are not serving you or not serving other people, you might feel really challenged today. So I would just say, if you know at the beginning of the day, if you watch this video, and you know these things that you do that are not awesome, I would just keep those at the forefront of your mind today, so that when they do come out throughout the day, you can just be present, be aware, and you can just be in greater check of okay, I'm not going to express myself like that. I'm going to choose to interact in a new situation, in a new dynamic. I'm going to choose to heal this wound. I'm going to choose to come together with other people to create a better world, to create new traditions. And so keep that in mind today. On Monday the 6th, we have Venus trine Pluto and Mercury trine Neptune. Today is a powerful day for transforming a situation, but in order to really transform the situation, you really need to keep in the forefront of your mind that you are no longer who you used to be. You have refined your values, you have refined who you are, and therefore, if words hit you and just like, feel like they got to the core issue of your emotional stuff or are really hitting a soft spot that you're healing, just take a breath, take a moment and say like, yes, that is the part of myself that I'm working on, but I am refining myself. I am no longer that person, because this can be a time where you recognize and say like, I don't need this power dynamic anymore because I don't need this structure anymore. I don't need you to help me anymore. I have my own 2 feet that I'm standing on now. So today is about recognizing because you have refined yourself to such an extent, you've refined your values, there's certain structures in your life, certain power dynamics that no longer need to be entertained. And today it's imagining, okay, well, what is the future then? What is our future going to look like together if we no longer need these certain dynamics? If we are going to heal these wounds, what does our future look like? So on one level, it's recognizing that you no longer need certain things in your life, certain power dynamics, certain structures that once did support you, but have now run their course and turned into power dynamics and not supporting you anymore. And on the other hand, it's saying, where do we go from here? And envisioning a brighter future for yourself because you've acknowledged the core wound, the core issue that needs to be healed. You've acknowledged it. Now it's saying like, where do we and how do we move forward? And so today, like I said, you want to keep in the forefront of your mind that you are no longer the same person you used to be. You've healed yourself. You've worked on yourself, and if you've done the work, this is an easy process to do because it's pretty obvious, right? You're not participating in ways that you used to, but keep that in your mind. So like I said, if words just strike you and hit a spot, it's like, no, I'm no longer going to participate in this relationship in this way. This is about putting on a new identity, expressing yourself in a new way, trying out a new way of relating. Because like I said, it's like, where do we go from here? What does the future look like? We get to envision that today. On Wednesday the 8th, we have Venus's ingress into Libra and Mercury sextile Pluto. Today can be a day where justice gets served, or at least begins to. We have Venus's ingress into Libra. She just spent about a month in Virgo, where it's all about us refining our values, refining what we find pleasure in, refining how we express ourselves. And now Venus has become, or we all have become more clear with what do we value? How do we want to optimize our life? What do we find pleasure in? And now that we know all those things, it's about sharing it with other people. So this is a time of, being more social, about sharing your values and coming together with other people that share your values, about doing art, about sharing your art, bringing harmony and peace into the world. And so this is a beautiful day because Venus's domicile is Libra. So this is a nice time. And as well today, with that Mercury sextile Pluto, this is a day where you want to use your words to penetrate and nail a target of a core issue of what needs to be healed, what the wound is, what needs to be brought to the surface, because in doing that, there is an opportunity to allow yourself to transform that power structure, to transform that thing that once had power over you. So today can be a powerful day of claiming justice. So keep that in mind today. This is about using your mind and your words to get to that core issue. Because like I said, this Venus's ingress into Libra is almost like justice and harmony has just entered the room. So hopefully from here on out, things will be a little bit different. Things will feel a little bit more harmonious. Things will feel a little bit more equal and balanced, or at least beginning that process in general. But like I said, with that Mercury sextile Pluto, this is something you have to activate. So choosing to use your words to penetrate a core issue can actually begin a process of bigger and greater healing and transformation of power structures. On Friday the 10th, we have Mercury's ingress into Sagittarius and Mercury square Saturn. Today can be a mentally overwhelming and sort of sobering day, so keep that in mind because we have Mercury's ingress into Sagittarius. And the thing about Mercury and Sagittarius is Mercury likes to look at everybody's opinions and be like, yeah, you're right, that's right, that's right. Let me just deliver that message here and there and there. But Mercury in Sagittarius is like, how can I pull together all of these opinions, all of these beliefs, and come to one truth? I see why you're all correct. See, Mercury doesn't necessarily have the power that Jupiter does to really understand what truth, justice, and fairness is. Mercury just understands, okay, that's right, that's what you believe, that's what you believe, okay, sure. Mercury doesn't necessarily have strong opinions around what is right or wrong because Mercury is kind of the trickster. So right and wrong in Mercury's mind is like, I don't know, maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. So it can be today where it just feels like there's so many opinions, there's so many belief systems, there's so many things to understand. For Mercury, it's more so like, oh, that's informative. So maybe that's how you should take this information, is it's information. Don't try and make it make sense. Just say like, just understand that information. Because that Mercury square Saturn today is kind of sobering, where it's just like, oh my God, there's so many opinions, there's so many beliefs, there's so much going on. How can we ever dissolve this, like this separation, how can we ever dissolve this limitation that we have around unity if there's so many different beliefs, if there's so many different opinions? So today, take a breath. It's a sobering sort of day. It's a sobering sort of day because it's like, yeah, do you see why unity is tricky? Unity is tricky is because everybody has different belief systems. And like I said, Mercury in Sagittarius can be overwhelming because Mercury really doesn't care right or wrong. And so today, don't try and make, or while Mercury is in Sagittarius, don't try and understand right and wrong of what people believe. Just try to understand what other people believe so you can begin to understand what other people believe. And then in that process, beginning to understand what everybody believes and maybe pulling to that core thing, which is Sagittarius, which is that truth that everybody has in common. On Saturday the 11th, we have Mars opposing Uranus. Today's a powerful day for change, both change that you can create and probably change that is unexpected. And so I'll get into what it means on a personal level, and then I'll get into what it means potentially on a global level that we want to be a little bit aware of. So on a personal level, if you want to use this energy in a powerful way, what I would say is go after passionately what needs to be healed, these wounds that you have inside of you, these things that need to be healed. I would say passionately go after them today, go after them and address them and say like, this norm, this standard, this habit, this thing that I do is blocking me from being able to address these emotions, from being able to heal and go to the depths and heal these wounds. And so allow yourself today to really say like, I'm gonna break through this tradition. I'm gonna break through this standard. I'm gonna break through this norm, this superficial level that's not allowing me to grow and evolve. I'm going to break through that today. And in breaking through that, know that you're going to be able to create better standards, better habits, better norms. You're going to be able to grow and evolve. So today can be a day, like I said, to passionately go after and go inward to address those wounds and those needs that need to heal. On a global level, on a bigger scale, it's kind of saying like, be aware today. There might be a force of power that is being used today, and it's challenging a certain tradition, a structure, a norm, a thing that's been going round and round and round, but really needs to change. Or it's like, this force of power may be challenging this breakthrough of this tradition and standard. And so there can either be a clinging to bad habits, bad standards, negative patterns and traditions. There can be a clinging to that because of this use of power, but there can also be a complete annihilation of this tradition, of this standard. And so it can be either or, and I think maybe we get to choose which way in perspective when we take on this position where it's saying like, some things really need to change. And sometimes we can't predict what needs to change, but sometimes we can be aware of what needs to change because we can see its faults. We can see that it's the limiting us from being able to grow and evolve. So today is a very powerful day. And I would say like, the other things that we have going on is we have the moon in an opposition to, or the moon is trine to Saturn. And so what we can do is tune into these deep emotions and really see and feel how they are limiting our ability to experience that collective unity. And as well, we need to acknowledge that wearing a face and participating in injustice is not helping to transform the power structures. So keep all of that in mind today, because like I said, today is a powerful day for change. And so use it in a way that is constructive. And if you find yourself in situations that are beyond your control, try to look at them through the lenses of like, is this serving a bigger purpose? What is the bigger purpose? Is this breaking down a structure, a tradition, a standard that has been limiting our ability to grow and evolve? Really look at situations in this light today, because today can be a very intense sort of day. So just be aware of that. That's all for this week's astrology report. If you'd like a personal reading, you can contact me at 11kaivarose33.com. If you'd like to support my work and become a patron and receive these videos ahead of the general public, as well as discounts off your reading, you can go to patreon.com/Kaiva Rose. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And other than that, I wish you all a blessed day, and please do make sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos.